Hello everyone, yes, it's another Hoover Sensotronic. I now own 4 of the original Sensotronics. I have system 1, 2, 3 and now 5. I doubt I'll ever get a system 4, but you never know. So, this didn't cost a lot, so I got it on eBay. I was the winning bidder and I think I paid £56 for this. It's not original, not all original anyway. Doesn't have the power head with it either. Doesn't have the original hose or extension wands, but hopefully the main cleaner will be okay. Right, here we go. I did ask the seller after I won the auction. I asked the seller if he would kindly remove the wheels from this machine, because regular viewers will know I've had many vacuum cleaners with broken wheels and a couple of Sensotronics, at least 2 Sensotronics, that had at least one wheel broken. So I asked the seller to remove the wheels and pop them inside the machine. But looks very well packed so far. So here's the first thing out. Completely wrong for this machine. The earliest, very earliest Sensotronics did have plastic wands, but they were cream coloured, not black, so that's a replacement. And the slightly later generation of the first generation, from system 3, 4 and 5, they had metal wands on them. So I'll see if I can, I've got a couple of metal ones somewhere. Here's the hose, which is completely wrong. I mean, it will work with this cleaner, but this is for a later generation of Sensotronics. It's in pretty nice shape. Ah, that's odd. We do have the power takeoff socket, but it says 90 watt max, which the original power head for this, the electrokinetic head, I'm sure was about, I think it was 170 watts. So this would fit the Turbo 300 head, which I do have. I do have one that would fit this. But we don't have any additional buttons. This just has an on-off and a slide control. That feels very smooth. I think this is going to work well. I suspect this is a replacement hose for the original cleaner, because the very first hoses used to split. So I wouldn't be surprised if this has been replaced. Well, it obviously has been replaced, but replaced under guarantee, I'm thinking. Here's the contour nozzle, and that is original to this cleaner. It is in a dark brown colour, not black. And it's the earlier contour nozzle because it does have the window. Later versions they did away with that window. But you can see hard floor with the brush down, with the brush up for carpets. That's in not bad shape at all, is it? That is very good. So that will polish up very nicely. That will look almost new, I think, after a bit of TLC. So congratulations to the seller for packing this cleaner so well. Excellent packing job, and I'll keep this box and packaging, because I'm sure I'll have a vacuum cleaner to sell I can fit in there. Right, that's it I think. Nothing else. Let's get rid of all this packaging and we can focus on the cleaner. Right, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. You can see now it's quite scratched, but nothing a good polish won't disguise. A T-cut, couple, 2 or 3 layers of polish, that will look very nice. Not too many scuffs on the furniture guard. There's some paint marks again, a bit of scratching, but again, cleaning and polishing will really help that out. And this side, similar. So this is a nice deep brown. I can't remember the colour Hoover called this. Ah, right, it's made a bit of a dirty mess on the carpet here. I don't know where that's falling out of, but something's making a mess. I'll just quickly vacuum up this mess and we'll take a closer look at the Hoover Sensotronic. This particular model is the very first brand new vacuum cleaner that I bought, and I think it was 1983 when my dad signed the hire purchase form at the local Seaboard electricity board shop, allowing me to buy this on tick, as they say. So I would give my dad a certain amount of money every month from my pocket money to pay for it. So it's nice to have one finally again. So, take the cover off. Can we see the date wheel? There isn't a date wheel on the cover. We do have, very nice to see, all the original tools in the correct brown colour. Very lightly used upholstery nozzle. And again, well, it's had a bit more use, but that's going to clean up very well. The dusting brush. And I suspect, yeah, the crevice nozzle has had the most use. But it's not too bad, I've seen far worse. And to have all the tools in the original colour is a bonus. So if we remove the tool tray, we can see the bag and the wheels. That's the underside, bit dusty, but not too bad. And there is a date wheel on here. This is pointing to 5, so this is May 1983. This particular part was made. So we've got the wheels, and the screws are in the bag as well. Yes, both screws. Now those wheels are in very, very good condition. They're not replacements, they are the original wheel, I would say, because they're brown. If they had to be replaced at any point, these probably would have been black. Most of the replacement cosmetic parts on Hoover cleaners were black. They didn't bother, after a while, they didn't bother producing the different colours. And if you look at the wheels, that is very good condition. So that's fantastic. We do have a used bag in here. Has it got the... Yes, it's got the original bag slide. And you can see this fits electronic, automatic and Sensotronic cleaners. It's going to smell a bit, I feel, when I turn it on. Hopefully it's going to work. It's pretty clean, you know. Bit of dust in there, but I've had far, far worse. Let's have a look. Ooh, right. That's going to make a bit of a mess. Oh dear. That's pretty bad, isn't it? The pre-motor filter. I'll just give that a quick vacuum. And also, while I'm about it, I'll just vacuum out the bag compartment. Put the wheels on, and then we'll plug in and see if this Hoover Sensotronic Total System 5 actually works. That's looking a bit better. These do wash up quite well, but I do have some spares. So just pop that back in to the grill. Not a high filtration cleaner for the early 80s. Basically, you've got a diffuser at the back, which is probably perished or will perish. We've got the pre-motor filter, but a twin-skinned dust bag. And I have a feeling the Sensotronic and compacts were the first to feature a twin-skinned paper bag. This is not going to be very effective because it's obviously been used and emptied I don't know how many times. But so yeah, 2 layers of paper, well, a paper layer and then a finer, I don't know what the material's made of, but anyway. Can't close the bag door. You can't put the tool caddy back unless the bag's fitted because there's this safety device. So let's pop the cleaner on its end actually, and we can pop the bag back in, locate it at the bottom and click it into place. And now we can pop the tool caddy back, and it won't work without the tool caddy. There'll be very little suction. The tool caddy forms the seal, but you can actually access the tools with the machine switched on by removing the top cover. So let's fit the wheels. Yeah, everything seems intact. It's in very good condition at the bottom as well. We'll have a look at the serial number in a minute, but just slide on the first wheel and then the second one, and 2 small flathead screws. I'll just hand tighten them for now. Just have to go and find a screwdriver. I'm not at home, so I don't have all my tools to hand, but there should be at least 1 screwdriver somewhere. Right, I'll just tighten those up. Well, that's the wheels fitted. Let's have a look at the back of the machine. We've got a swivel caster at the top with a tyre that's starting to crack, but it's still there, hasn't perished, so that's good. This is Hoover model S3134, 50 Hz, 1000 watts, 240 volts, 1170 watts with power head, and the serial number is 306-02074, made in France, trademarks of Hoover Limited. Here's the control panel. No physical buttons on this machine apart from the mains on off and automatic cord rewind on this particular version, and a very similar System 3, which is basically the Total System 5 without a power head. So what I've bought is basically a System 3 because we don't have the power head. I do have a power head that needs refurbishing that I could possibly use with this machine, but that's a job for another day. So I've got the amber mains on light, the green performance indicator. When the light is green, it means the cleaner is operating efficiently, and when the red light comes on, it can either mean that there's a blockage or the bag is full, or you just need to turn up the power a bit until the green light comes on and the red light goes off. Here's the back of the cleaner with the exhaust vent, and behind the vent is a coarse mesh diffuser, and they tend to perish with age. I've had to replace them on every Sensotronic I've had. It'll just start spewing out bits of filter when I turn it on, unless it's been replaced or it's one of the rare ones that has actually managed to stay in shape. But this cleaner is from 1983, so things do deteriorate after all those years. This is obviously the plug, and the it's got a Volex, and this, I used to buy Volex plugs, so this is very age appropriate. I would have bought Volex plugs myself, or MK plugs. They were the 2 brands I favoured when I was fitting plugs to the new vacuum cleaners I bought in the 80s. We've got, yes, the correct dark brown mains cable, and very unusual to see on a used Sensotronic. Look at this. Hardly a mark on there. Now what people normally did when pulling out the cable, they'd pull the cable out at an angle like this, and after doing it many times, it would gouge grooves in the plastic. But if you pull it out straight like this, you prevent that from happening. Feels quite smooth coming out. I hope it's smooth going in. Right, we'll just let it in a bit. There we go. Okie dokie. Well, I can plug the machine in, but first of all, I'll have to connect the hose because this cleaner will not work without a power hose, which I'm sure is probably why a lot of these cleaners, the Sensotronics with power hoses, were probably scrapped when the power hose failed, and people would have been told, oh, it's X amount of money for a power hose, and they probably would have said, oh no, I'll get a new vacuum. So this is where the hose goes in, and there's a release button there, so it just clicks in. You can see the connector there, 3 prongs go in the 3 holes. So on the original that would have been brown, you can see it's black. There we go, that's in place. I'll point the machine that away in case it does decide to spew out particles from its backside. Right, well I'm just going to plug in. Let's just go for it, folks, eh? Just go for it. The cleaner is off at the remote control, so I'm going to switch the socket on. And so far so good. We've got the amber and the red light illuminated. That's normal. So hopefully when I turn the machine on via the remote, the red light will go off and the green light will come on. The motor bearings did sound a bit dry on this almost 40-year-old vacuum cleaner, but I think it's salvageable. I don't think there's too many major issues with that motor. It's going to have to come out of the machine, bit of lubrication, bit of clean up, and I think she'll be running a lot sweeter than she is now. I've got my suction gauge, so at the unrefurbished state with that used bag, we can measure the sealed suction using the gauge. Now when this was advertised, it actually showed the air watts of this machine, and Hoover were claiming 250 air watts from a 1000 watt motor. Now I don't know how my suction gauge will equate to the air wattage. I'm sure someone in the comments will be able to tell me. There is a calculation you can do to work out air watts. But anyway, I'm just using my regular suction gauge. I've also got this little adapter which is going to help me seal the suction a bit better on this particular hand grip. So we can pop that in first. So I'm going to be able to get a better seal, and we'll find out the sealed suction of this Hoover Sensotronic. Well, that wasn't too bad. We got to almost 70 on the gauge, but this motor isn't as efficient as, say, as a new pneumatic Henry cleaner, because at 620 watts, a modern Henry reaches up to 80. So clearly they've made improvements in motor technology over the past 40 years, so you can get more suction power out of a lower wattage motor. I've put down a little bit of dirt. It's a bit hard to see on this carpet, so I'll zoom in with the camera a bit. But I'm going to use the Hoover contour head. Obviously it's the only head I've got. It is a bit short with these particular wands. Obviously cleaner supplied with this sort of pistol hand grip, contour hand grip, would have had longer wands, longer metal wands, and of course the original System 5 would have had a completely different handle setup altogether, which was longer than this one. So a shorter wand would have been okay. But anyway, we'll give it a go. See what happens. There you go, another Hoover Sensotronic to add to my collection. I'm very pleased with this. Yes, it's not all original, but the cleaner itself is in exceptional condition for a machine approaching 40 years old. And as I was running it more during that little bit of a demo, I kept the cleaner running as I was moving the camera, changing the angles of the shots. I just left the machine going. And so far, touch wood, or an approximation of wood, it's been fine. There's been no signs of the suppressor blowing up, but I'm going to have to obviously open it up and see what type of suppressor this machine has in it. But all in all, for under 60 quid, I'm really happy to own another vacuum cleaner. In fact, one of the earliest vacuum cleaners I had in my collection. If you have any comments or questions about this or any Hoover Sensotronic, please comment below, and I'll see you all very soon for the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.